Hello there, and this is Sam, and this is my first video version of the VictorPrep GRE Words podcast. So obviously this isn't a podcast, but the first 59 episodes or 58 episodes of this series have been on podcast, and this is my first video. So apologies if this has some issues because it's my first time doing the whole screen recording thing. So we're going to do 4 words today, and those words are arbitrate, mundane, propriety, and shard. And we're going to work through them, we're going to do the definitions, we're going to do examples of using them, we're going to do some synonyms too. So yeah, let's get started with arbitrate. So arbitrate, spelled Arbitrate, arbitrate. So to arbitrate means to reach an authoritative judgment or settlement. So imagine you have 2 groups of people who are arguing over something. Maybe one of them thinks the other group owes them money and they don't agree, and they're having trouble deciding this. So they both reach an agreement that some third party, some independent person, is going to settle this dispute. And they both legally sign an agreement to say that this third party is going to listen to our arguments and they're going to make the decision. And whatever decision they come to, that's going to be final. So that person is going to arbitrate this situation, this legal situation. So to arbitrate means to reach some judgment or settlement. And the person who is arbitrating is usually an independent person or an independent group of people. So that is to arbitrate. And some synonyms are adjudicate, judge, umpire, or referee. Our second word is mundane. Mundane. Mundane, mundane. And mundane simply means dull, lacking excitement, boring, or humdrum. So if you imagine you're at school and you had some favourite teachers and you had some teachers that were just simply very boring, that you listened to and they put you to sleep. Now, those lessons were humdrum lessons. They were mundane lessons. So mundane simply means lacking excitement or dull. Our third word is propriety. Propriety. So propriety, slightly complicated meaning, but it means the quality of conforming to the accepted standards of whatever situation you're in. So, and these are standards of behavior, standards of morality or morals. So if you imagine going to a church or going to a temple or a mosque, some place of worship, or if you imagine going to a courtroom, there are certain standards of behavior in those situations, and if you are behaving with propriety, it means you are behaving with the accepted standards of behavior in those particular situations. So if you're in a courtroom, you're respectful to the judge. You probably wear something a little smarter than you might do normally. You're quiet and you stand up when the judge comes in. You're acting with propriety. Or when you're in church or some place of worship, you don't swear, you don't shout, you don't start fighting someone. You're behaving with respect. So some synonyms of propriety are decorum, respectability, protocol, appropriateness, suitability, politeness. So it's behaving, with respect for that particular situation or place that you're in, behaving with propriety. And our final word for this episode is shard. Shard. And a shard is usually referring to a broken piece of glass usually, but it could be ceramic, or it could be rock or stone or metal. And a shard is usually, a sharp, narrow piece of broken material, broken glass usually. You'll often hear a shard referring to a shard of glass. And shard implies that the piece is sharp. It's not, it's likely to cut you if you rub your fingers on it. So some synonyms of shard are fragment, sliver, splinter, chip, or shiver. So that is shard. And I'm going to try and bring up these definitions here. So you should see these definitions on the screen now. So we have arbitrate, and we're going to just review all the words now, because when you're learning words, it really, really helps to get some repetition. The more you repeat these words, it's going to sink into your brain more, basically. So we have arbitrate. And arbitrate is to reach a judgment or settlement. Mundane, meaning dull, lacking interest, boring, mundane, monotonous. We have propriety, and that is conforming to an accepted standard of behaviour, like being quiet in a church, behaving with respect in a courtroom. And we have shard, which is a piece of broken glass, or it could be broken, pottery or ceramic or stone or metal, but very often when you hear shard, it often refers to glass. Typically it has sharp edges. And I think if we just move this, so you have synonyms here. So we have those synonyms of arbitrate: judge, adjudicate, referee, and umpire. Synonyms of mundane: humdrum, dull, boring, tedious, and monotonous. Propriety: we have decorum, decency, correctness, respectability, protocol, suitability. And shard, and those synonyms are fragment, sliver, splinter, shiver, and chip. So to end with, I'm going to give you some sentences which don't use any of these words, but each sentence references or refers to these words. And I want you to think about the definitions and think about which words I'm referring to. The museum, which had seemed so exciting looking on the outside, turned out to be extremely dull and lifeless. That's mundane. When I was younger, I had to go to the hospital after getting a piece of glass in my ankle. It was extremely sharp and thin, like an icicle. The museum... Oh, whoops. I just did that one. Andrew was always such a good boy when we were in high school. He never got a detention and always did exactly what he was supposed to do. Propriety. The independent tribunal reached a decision that Oscar the Owl had done nothing wrong, and he was allowed to return to his position as Dean of the Forest University. Arbitrate. So guys, before we part ways today, I just want to test you again one final time, and this time we'll look at the definitions. And for each definition, think about which word we're talking about. So, a piece of broken glass, typically with sharp edges. What is that one? Well, that's shard of glass or a shard of metal. Conforming to accepted standards of behaviour. Which word is that? Well, that's propriety. Dull, lacking interest, boring, humdrum, that is mundane. And our fourth and final word is to reach a judgment or settlement. Typically some independent body or person is reaching a judgment, and that is arbitrate. So hope you found this useful, This is going to be the format going forward. Hopefully my handwriting will get better. This is literally my first time making one of these videos and using the stylus, so hopefully that will get easier. Please subscribe. That will be awesome if you do that, because it means that you'll get a notification when we have more videos. And I'm also going to be doing some live videos, live streaming, so that will help a lot, because then we can actually interact. So you can ask me questions and I can answer them. It'll be a lot better. So thank you so much. Please subscribe and tune in for the next video. Thanks so much. Bye bye.